Hey guys, what's up? It's the old T-Man here. Allow, whatever, who gives a fuck? Alright, we're gonna check out some stuff. See my little kitty? This is just before opening night, so I come early. Got into the booth, ran through the lighting sequences, brought the lights down for one scene, and when I brought them up, it seemed as if there was someone on stage just for a second, as if I caught them and they were caught by surprise. Just like that, they were gone. I was safe. But I've been I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been married. I have personally never sighted a ghost myself. But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? So I moved it, walked the wheels into position. But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? There's nobody in the theater that could have moved it. And it's my little kitty cat. As soon as I touched it, I got an icy chill that ran through my body. Let's see, where do we want to go? Where do we want to go? Let's actually go to bookmarks and see what we want to go. I don't know, do I got Twitter? Do I have Twatter? He's there quite often. Often on a dark night when people are there by themselves late at night during rehearsals. His ghost is there, as you can imagine. People aren't expecting to see him. Scares the daylights out of them. There are a lot of elements here that are likely to produce a ghost story. You've got the ashes of the founder buried under the stage, and of course, ashes are associated with death. Death is associated with ghosts. So it's not a very long leap to imagine, if you're prone to believe in ghosts, that the ghost of the founder may inhabit this building. Secondly, you've got an acting community, and the world of theater is rife with superstition and fantasy. We all know about the Scottish play Macbeth, where there are all sorts of superstitions about what happens to actors who play the roles, etc., etc. But in general, actors and directors and so forth are more fantasy prone. That's their craft, to use their imaginations and present that to the audience, to be sensitive to their emotions and not question them, but to project them to the audience. So you've got a group of people who are much more likely to be prone to misinterpreting normal stimuli in terms of what their expectation is, that the ghost of the founder may be there, and then the ashes of the founder. What a good mixture to generate ghost stories. I think Franklin Johnson could be one of the ghosts here, but I think there's a number of spirits here.
My first experience with the ghost that lives in the theater here was in 1989 during a show called Life with Father. It was set in the Victorian era. I noticed that when one of the actors made his exit and went upstairs,
But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
She follows people around the theater, but nobody knows who she is or why she's there. When you leave the stage after a performance and cross towards the lobby, the building is alive. It holds the energy of the people who've been through it. It's not intimidating in any way, but it certainly is a collector in this auditorium itself. It's a wonderful place.
Now it's perfect.
But I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Victoria has many haunted restaurants, and one of those is the
4 Mile House.
I've been working at 4 Mile for a couple of years now, and it was Halloween night, and this is one of the most eerie experiences I have.
Fucking Furfinity ain't working for me. Oh well, fuck it. This is Furfinity, people. Furfinity is awesome, bro.
Just came up floating in midair past me and landed directly on the bar. And it was as if someone had picked it up and had gently put it there.
This website is all about furries. On my one video I did a thing on Furfinity, but ooh, look at this one.
Hey, it's me, Casey, and this is my comfort. I've been
Be prepared to train you. But I've been forgotten, not Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been forgotten, not Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
pieces of music. Let me show you, and you can help me decide which piece I should finish. Do you like dance 1 or dance 2?
I like Dance 5.
Here we are, a nation divided. Red, blue, 16% undecided. The
Meow, meow.
shook, so we gave the world another look.
Furfinity has just some of the cutest fursuits ever, dude.
Every voice heard and advocate, or everyone can show their pride.
I like this one. I like this one too.
There's a world of possibility that can't exist with you versus me. It will take work, that's indisputable. But oh man, it could be beautiful. This world where we are we.
God dang it, I'm trying to shine in, but niggers won't let me, dommit.
Find your get up and go.
Why do you have to be gay? You fucking whore.
Find your sense of wonder. Find the
I'm
world
gonna make a dance on the Furfinity.
we'd like to take
Dance, kitty, dance.
But I've been forgotten, not Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been forgotten, not
It's time to find new roads again.
My name is Sue. I worked at the 4 Mile for about 5 years, and I've encountered one experience, and that was about 4 years ago. And I was training the boss's daughter, and I'd taken 3 orders out here when I was looking at this gentleman buying.
Furfinity has some of the weirdest stuff on here.
But I can't. There's just too many things going on. I said, could you please go to table 16? There's a single guy by himself, and I can't get his order because I'm just too busy. She says, sure, I'll go out there. She went out there. She came back in. And she goes, and what table number was that again? And I said, table 16. She went back out there, and she came back in. She goes, and what did he look like? So I described this person, and she says, you just met Jake. I said, well, who is Jake? And she says, oh, he's the ghost of the 4 Mile.
The 4 Mile House is one of the most historic restaurants and pubs in Victoria. It's named the 4 Mile House because it's 4 miles from downtown Victoria. It was started in the 1850s by Peter Calvert and his wife Elizabeth. Elizabeth Calvert became well known in the area as a healer. Her Indian women friends would come and they would trade herbs. It was in about 1980 that the Hames, Graham and Wendy, bought the place. They soon discovered how haunted it was. The place was really quite a mess. It was a labor of love and sweat, according to Wendy. And one day, she was on her hands and knees, and she was almost 9 months pregnant as well.
Oh, she's on her hands and knees, so she's going, aya, 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 aya.
This had better be worth it. She'd gone over that spot so many times, so she was amazed that there was something still there on the floor. It was something that definitely wasn't there only seconds before. She leaned over and picked it up. It was a 5-cent piece from the United States, and the date was 1867. How it got there, she has no
I'm
idea.
trying to find a
Even though it was only
woolly.
5 cents, she realized that this was an omen. It was going to be worth it after all. And so they persevered. When Wendy first came to the 4 Mile House, the gardens were in a complete mess. They hadn't been looked after for a long, long time. But at one time, they had been a showplace in the area. And so, without knowing anything at all about gardening, she started to work on them. She didn't really know what she was doing, but from the very beginning, she felt as though her hands were being guided by some unseen force. Perhaps the woman that she saw standing at the window on a number of occasions. The woman believed to be Elizabeth Calvert, the person who had first made the gardens the beautiful places they were. And later, the gardens did turn into a beautiful showplace again. And many people, since then, coming to the parking lot have seen a woman standing at a window, but when they look again, she's not there.
My name is Andrew. I work here at the 4 Mile House Pub. And I've heard some stories here. Sometimes the staff will be in the kitchen.
Edit profile. I'm trying to figure out how to get my picture on that little thing right there, but the gosh darn thing doesn't want to go there.
Completely empty, but there's noise. We heard noise.
God damn it.
This is weird.
Ugh.
The room that is known as the tea room is a place that has at least several ghosts.
I think I have the coronavirus.
For 30 days at the restaurant, she was doing some waitressing. It was before opening time, so as she passed the door of the tea room, she was quite surprised that there was somebody in there. It was a man. And he was sitting at one of the tables. Her first reaction was, who is that?
Right here.
And she went into the room to investigate. The man was gone. But the chair was ajar where he had been sitting only a few seconds before. She realized that this was probably a ghost. Perplexed, she started talking to the chef. The chef had seen someone in there as well. The chef said, let me tell you what he looks like. And detail for detail, the chef was able to describe that man. He was apparently quite a well-known apparition there in the tea room.
One incident that happened to me, I had to change some things on a menu, so I decided to get some extra menus. And I went upstairs where the menus are stored. After I grabbed the menu, for some strange reason, this door swung open. And out comes this guy, which I found out later after doing a seance, that was Jake. And he just ran by me. And he literally just ran by. He scared the bejesus out of me. And that was my experience that I experienced tonight.
Wolves.
Something that happened that was completely strange.
All
was that I
time,
had two
adult,
glasses here,
no, mature.
and I could not get them apart. I tried and I tried. So I put them down. I was gone for maybe a few seconds. I came back, and there they were sitting on the bar counter, well, at least 5 inches apart. It was as if something had helped me out.
Fur Affinity, yeah, this is a cool website. I like it.
It was really strange.
Employees that work at the 4 Mile Pub, we decided to talk to Wendy about it, and she decided to have a seance.
Early on, they decided they would try an experiment. Wendy's family often had used the Ouija board, the homemade variety. They would put numbers and letters on pieces of paper and spread them around the table. A wine glass turned upside down, and then the wine glass does the moving. And that's exactly what happened at the 4 Mile House. They made contact with a number of spirits. One of them, he gave his name as Jake. Jake had worked at the 4 Mile House, probably as a stable boy, many, many years before. And Jake had met an untimely end. He had been murdered. However, people that owned the place had some influence. They wanted to cover this up. And so Jake's murder never really was fully investigated.
You think so, Kitty?
Through the Ouija board, a lot of information of a very positive nature can come forward.
Well, seances are interesting.
But I've been forgotten, I Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But I've been forgotten, I Joe. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
And in some seances, people
Alright, I'm
use,
done with for Infinity.
wine
Let's
glasses,
go to
Ouija
someplace
boards
special.
or whatever in the hope that
Someplace that makes my
you're
dick
cool
go
and
Let's go to
participants
Facebook.
around the table. People can unconsciously move objects or move wine glasses if you have a number of letters arranged around the table.
I've been smacking hoes for a million years in a row. I've been a pump 'em, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna smack you right in your face.
All they end up getting when the words are spelled out is something they either already
Guess
knew
I'm
or
a
something
damn
they've already
idiot
fantasized
because
to
of
imagine.
my brother's
Because
pointless
they're
pranks.
aware of these movements that have been caused by they themselves.
Nigger! I was reading that.
At the 4 Mile, there's this stained glass window of a lady wearing a beautiful white flowing dress. And
Tell you what,
the white lady of
go to sleep.
Point.
Apparently, she was a woman staying in the 4 Mile house with the Calverts, and her husband was a sea captain. She would go out every day waiting for his ship to come in. And then she heard, of course, that he would never come home. He'd been lost at sea. Her ghost still returns to April Point, a small point of land jutting into a small harbor very close to the 4 Mile house. She's seen there on dark winter evenings, a white shimmering form on April Point.
It's quite a sad story because this lady here, over the last 100 years, has been looking out to sea, waiting for her man to return home. I mean, she must have really loved him.
Wendy and Graham have come to realize that the spirits of the 4 Mile house are friendly. It's a place where people can dine, have a drink in the ambience of the 1850s and 1860s while enjoying the company of people who lived then and perhaps even earlier as well. The Princess Mary restaurant vessel on dry land became a very popular place through the 1950s and 1960s. The whole place is very haunted. Not unusual, really, because ships can be very haunted places.
A waitress that used to work here, she was heading out to the store.
Yes, I'm getting a PS4 then. LOL.
So she looked away, and when she looked back, the woman was gone. So she brushed off, thinking her eyes were playing tricks on her. The exact same woman that she saw hanging there walked past her in the hallway. I believe it's haunted. There's several people that have died on the ship, and I don't think they're ready to go anywhere soon. I believe this is a home.
There seems to be something about one of the components of the old ship itself. Perhaps the Venezuelan oil tanker. It's said that the wife of a former captain had
Name something you can bring to both a furry convention and a family reunion.
We have a resident ghost that comes around and does different things around the Princess Mary. Some of the examples are rattling dishes, footsteps when there's nobody there, and many different little things that go on, and we just take it for granted that there's a female ghost around and she's friendly, and we live with her on a day-to-day basis.
The Princess Mary is a favorite ship in Victoria. It was a coastal steamer built in Scotland, and it arrived in Victoria just before World War II.
The president wants to know who stood with him against the rebel left. We're sending list of every American who signs their name to President Trump's first thing tomorrow morning. Will you see your name? Add your name by 11 a.m. to stand for President Trump and to get on the list of supporters he sees. But it probably costs money, so.
A couple of the other things that have happened on the Princess Mary when it was in service was there was 2 sailors that had hung themselves also in 2 cabins, and 2 people had drowned.
Ooh, look at those knives. That is pretty.
We're working upstairs. Used to be the wheelhouse.
It was approximately 10:30 at night, and we were taking inventory, and we had locked up the rest of the ship, and there was nobody else in the building.
All of a sudden, I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. We both turned to each other and said, "Did you hear that?" And we both got up, walked out.
That person's like walking by, like, walking this way.
But I still, to this day, remember those footsteps.
Well, the Princess Mary
Democrats will be dying. One little, 2 little, 3 little piggy, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little piggy.
The legend, of course, of the woman who hung herself. All these elements provide a good setting for ghost stories. Now, ghost stories often come about because people perceive things late at night, and they like to think that perhaps...
Yeah, we had a thunderstorm today. His name
what happens is that after dark, we become much more anxious. We depend very much on visual
Taco
for our sense of security in the world. And in the dark, we can't obviously have the same sense of security we have when the lights are on. So even in semi-darkness, we're much more likely to be a little bit anxious, a little bit more prone to anxiety, and certainly more prone to misinterpret stimuli, whether it's the creaking of pipes or whatever, as being something sinister, something that justifies the anxiety we're feeling. In the context of a place that's supposedly haunted, our brains quickly jump to, that's the ghost.
Adjacent to the new second-floor banquet room is an old area, part of the old Venezuelan oil tanker.
Ooh, look at those knives.
Storage, and only staff have access
Oh,
to
that one stabbed into me. 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 That one going up my ass. That one stabbed into me. That one stabbed into me. That one stabbed into me. That one stabbed into me.
I was in a hurry, so I didn't pay too much attention, and then I stopped when I said there was a man there. What is he doing out there? Because it's a service area, nobody goes there. So I turned back and...
Yeah, kill me. Why does that picture keep
I
flickering?
went back afterwards, double checked. No one was in the room. It's a mystery.
The kitchen seems to be a very haunted place as well. In fact, that's where most of the hauntings take place at the Princess Mary. At first, it was just small things.
Robert Downey Jr. Ooh, shit.
Staff began to notice the kitchen utensils suddenly going missing.
Yeah.
They appear at the end of the
Think he should slap the bitch. I'm kidding.
No one had done. And if that happened just once or twice,
I would
it might be
never.
written off as a strange quirk, but it happens all the time. The lady who washes dishes, who's been there for a number of years, says that sometimes when she steps away just for a moment, with the dishes piled up, she comes back and discovers that they're all done. And it happens very often.
Myself and another chap, Henry, were working in the kitchen.
You won't leave those little kids alone. What's this pup? Hey, what's his name, pup? What is name, pup?
10 to 12 feet against the convection oven on the other side. So even if it fell off the shelf, it would never get that momentum. So we both stood there in awe in the middle of this big rush, and we could not believe our eyes. We were heading out home, and we walked down into the large banquet room that we have at the Princess Mary. And I looked across to see a white streak run down through the original. It disappeared. So needless to say, we were very upset and very scary at that event.
You know what? Fuck this shit.
more busy than usual.
Starting to get a
I
little
served quite a few
tired.
kids, and I had a tray full of coffee on my